Life can be unpredictable. We face challenges. We worry about our families. Will we have enough? Will we be okay? These questions tug at our hearts. In the midst of uncertainty, there's a source of comfort: God's unwavering love and provision. Trusting God is like taking a leap of faith. It's believing that even when we can't see the path, He knows the way. It's knowing in our hearts that He will provide for our needs. This trust isn't always easy, but it's the key to experiencing peace and security in a world that often feels unsteady. Trust is a choice we make. It's surrendering our worries to a loving Father who cares for us. When we trust God, we're not denying the reality of our struggles. We're acknowledging that He is bigger than our struggles. He's bigger than our fears. He's the one who holds the future. And when we place our trust in Him, we can face each day with hope. We can find peace even in the midst of the storm. The story of the Israelites wandering in the wilderness is a powerful testament to God's provision. They faced hunger, thirst, and uncertainty. Yet God was faithful. He provided manna from heaven. He brought water from a rock. He guided their steps through the desert. This story reminds us that even when circumstances seem dire, God is at work. He hasn't forgotten His promises. He's always with us, providing for our needs in ways we may not always understand. The Israelites faced moments of doubt. They grumbled and complained. They longed for the familiar comforts of Egypt. But God never abandoned them. He continued to provide, teaching them to depend on Him. Their journey reminds us that trusting God isn't always easy. There will be times when we question. There will be times when we're tempted to rely on our own strength. But it's in those moments that we need to remember God's faithfulness. He's always with us, even in the wilderness. Jesus Himself spoke about the importance of trusting God for our needs. He reminded us that we don't need to worry about what we'll eat or drink or wear. He said, "Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they?" Jesus' words are a soothing balm for our anxious hearts. He's reminding us that if God cares for the birds, how much more does He care for us? He wants us to release our worries to Him. He wants us to trust that He knows what we need even before we ask. Jesus' teachings encourage us to shift our focus from our anxieties to our Heavenly Father's love and provision. He's inviting us to live with a childlike faith, knowing that our needs are met in His hands. He's calling us to experience the peace that surpasses all understanding. Fear can be paralyzing. It whispers doubts. It magnifies our problems. It tells us we're not enough. But faith is the antidote to fear. Faith is trusting in God's promises. It's believing in His goodness even when circumstances are difficult. When we choose faith over fear, we open ourselves to God's power. We tap into a strength that's greater than our own. We begin to see our circumstances through the lens of hope. The Bible tells us that God did not give us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power, of love, and of self-discipline. We're not meant to live in fear. We're meant to walk in the confidence that comes from knowing God is with us. He's for us. He's fighting our battles. When fear rears its ugly head, we can cling to God's promises. We can remind ourselves of His faithfulness. We can choose to walk forward in faith, knowing that He will never leave us nor forsake us. Section 5. Beyond the material, God's abundant provision. God's provision extends far beyond our material needs. He provides for our emotional, spiritual, and relational needs as well. He gives us peace in the midst of storms. He offers comfort in times of sorrow. He provides wisdom when we're facing difficult decisions. He surrounds us with people who love and support us. When we talk about trusting God for our needs, It's not just about asking for financial stability or material possessions. It's about recognizing that He cares about every aspect of our lives. He desires to give us a full and abundant life. This abundance might look different for each of us. It might mean finding joy in the midst of suffering. It might mean experiencing peace that surpasses all understanding. It might mean feeling a deep sense of purpose and belonging. Whatever our needs may be, we can trust that God sees them. He cares about them. He's working in ways we may not always see to provide for us according to His perfect plan. Section 6. Gratitude and action, partners in provision. Gratitude plays a vital role in experiencing God's provision. When we're thankful for what we have, we're acknowledging God's hand in our lives. We're shifting our focus from what we lack to the abundance of blessings He's already poured upon us. Gratitude opens our hearts to receive even more. It cultivates a spirit of contentment and joy. But gratitude isn't passive. It's often accompanied by action. When we trust God to provide, we're also called to be good stewards of what He's given us. We're called to use our gifts, talents, and resources to bless others and further His kingdom. This might mean working diligently at our jobs. It might mean volunteering our time to serve those in need. It might mean being generous with our finances. When we combine gratitude with action, we become active participants in God's work. Section 7. God's perfect timing, trusting the unseen hand. One of the most challenging aspects of trusting God is learning to trust His timing. We often want things to happen on our timetable, but God's ways are higher than our ways. His timing is perfect, even when it doesn't make sense to us. Sometimes He allows us to wait because He's working behind the scenes. He's preparing us. He's aligning circumstances. He's doing something far greater than we could ever imagine. Waiting on God's timing can be frustrating. It can test our faith. But it's in those seasons of waiting that we learn to surrender our will to His. We learn to find peace in the midst of uncertainty. We learn that His timing is always perfect. He's never late. He's never early. He's always right on time. Section 8. Unexpected blessings, when God provides in surprising ways. God often provides for us in ways we least expect. It might be a timely phone call from a friend. It might be a financial breakthrough when we're at our wits' end. It might be an unexpected opportunity that opens doors we never thought possible. These unexpected blessings remind us that God is at work, even when we can't see it. He's orchestrating circumstances for our good. He's using ordinary people and situations to shower us with His love and provision. When we open our hearts to receive God's unexpected blessings, we're reminded that He's full of surprises. He's a God of abundance who loves to delight His children. He wants us to experience the joy of receiving gifts we didn't deserve and blessings we didn't earn. These unexpected provisions strengthen our faith. They deepen our trust in His goodness. They remind us that He's a loving Father who cares for us in ways we could never imagine. Section 9. Passing the torch, raising children in faith. One of the greatest gifts we can give our children is the gift of faith. Teaching our children to trust God is an investment in their present and their future. It's equipping them to face life's challenges with courage and hope. It's showing them that they can rely on a God who loves them unconditionally and will always be there for them. We can teach our children about God's faithfulness by sharing stories from the Bible. We can talk to them about how God has provided for our family. We can encourage them to pray and ask God for their needs. Most importantly, we can model a life of trust in God. When our children see us relying on God's strength, they'll learn to do the same. They'll discover that true security isn't found in material possessions or worldly achievements, but in the unwavering love of their Heavenly Father. Section 10. Finding True Riches, Spiritual Growth Over Material Wealth. In a world that often measures success by material possessions, it's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of more. But true riches are found not in what we accumulate, but in our relationship with God. When we trust God for our needs, we're freed from the grip of materialism. We're able to focus on what truly matters, growing in our faith, loving others, and making a difference in the world. Trusting God isn't about getting everything we want. It's about surrendering our desires to Him and trusting that He knows what's best for us. It's about seeking His kingdom first and believing that He'll provide for all our needs. When we prioritize spiritual growth over material wealth, we discover